Hi, my name is Tegan Phillips, and I'd like to go over some cleaning and sanitation regulations with you today. So first off, I would like to start with talking about hand washing. So like me, I just came from the gym. You might be coming from a restaurant or work or whatever, wherever it is, you have to touch stuff. When you touch stuff, you pick up bacteria and germs on your hands. So as soon as you enter a kitchen that you're about to cook in, you need to wash your hands, okay? You need to turn the water on, get it as hot as your hands can take it. Get your hands nice and wet, and then you're gonna put some antibacterial soap on it. You're gonna scrub real good, 30 to 45 seconds. You want a really good lather. And then you also want to make sure you get in between your fingernails. Also, it doesn't hurt to get a little bit higher on your wrist. Okay, then wash it off with water as hot as you can take it and dry them off on a clean towel. Now, you're about to start cooking. So, you need to make sure that your food has been properly stored. So let's say I am going to cook some ground beef, okay? So I walk in to my kitchen and I realize my ground beef has been sitting out at room temperature the whole time I've been gone. That is no good. That beef could have any kind of foodborne illness because it has not been stored properly. Because it has not been stored at room temperature, it might not taste as good. It might have an off flavor, which whoever's eating it is gonna know. So you need to make sure that your food is properly stored. So let me grab my beef out of the fridge. So I have this ground beef here, and let's say I had it sitting there in the refrigerator. I also need to cover it with something. So whatever you store it in has a lid or saran wrap or something. Oh good. You need to make sure that it's covered so that if there is something wrong with the beef, it doesn't get in your refrigerator, and any bacteria that may be in your fridge somehow, one way or another, doesn't get to your beef. Also, you don't want your fridge to smell like beef. So you've stored your beef properly and you've had it covered in the refrigerator. So now you want to start cooking. Okay, so I've already washed my hands to begin with, and let's say I am putting my hands in this raw beef. Okay, so I season it, I'm mixing it together with my hands, and then I realize, oh, it needs more seasoning. So after I've touched it with my hands, grab the pepper to put more in. Whoops, now I made a mistake. I now have raw beef on my pepper, which will be touched by the whole kitchen. So somebody say, well, wipe your hands off. Wipe my hands off, okay? Then grab it. Still, not only is there still germs on the pepper, but now there's germs on my towel that I'm gonna touch repeatedly the whole time I'm cooking. So, and now, like I said, I have my hands on my towel. I, touch the stove, mix this up, whatever. Everything is contaminated. So I need to wash my hands every time I touch some kind of raw meat and then do something else. So I did it the right way. Touch my raw meat, wash my hands. Now I season it again, okay? A way to get around that is using utensils. If I have a utensil and I'm positive that my hand is not touching any kind of raw meat, then you can be a little bit more lenient. Okay, now, so I've gone over after you've cleaned your hands and what not to do after you've cleaned your hands. So, make sure if you touch something that could potentially have germs on it, you wash your hands. I've also gone over storing certain foods. Something else I need to go over with is checking expiration dates and knowing how long stuff has been opened. So for instance, this pepper here is brand new. It's good to go. Now, if this pepper has been sitting in the back of the cabinet for 3 years and nobody's touched it, there might be something wrong with this pepper. There could be any kind of bacteria in it. E. coli, salmonella from where people have touched raw meat and then touched this just sitting around, and it could make somebody sick with a foodborne illness. So you need to keep up to date all your seasonings, everything you cook with. And then lastly, I would like to talk about cleaning at the end of the day. Okay, so every dish I use, I'm immediately gonna put it in hot water, and I'm gonna let it sit, and I'm gonna have soap in that water. I'm gonna clean, if I have a break while I'm cleaning, I'm gonna clean dishes while I'm taking a break, because I don't end up with dishes getting built up, and also clean everything before bacteria and all the grease and stuff starts to set in. So for instance, if I'm cooking mushrooms, sauteing mushrooms in this pot, if I let it sit all night, when I come back in the morning, it's gonna be just greasy and stuck to the pot. And on top of that, it's accumulated bacteria all night. And although overnight every now and then might not be terrible. It's still not good. And over time, your bacteria could build up to the point where your normal cleaning routine will not get it. So you'll start having to use heavy chemicals and introducing heavy chemicals into your kitchen. You really want to do that as least often as possible as you can. So wash your hands before you do anything. Wash your hands frequently. It is better to wash your hands frequently. If you smell something burning and you've been in raw meat, your customer would much rather have their green beans overcooked than get E. coli or salmonella. So make sure you wash your hands. Make sure your food's been stored properly. I mean, you might waste $20 on a steak having to throw it out, but it's a whole lot better than catching a lawsuit because you got somebody sick for negligence. And clean up, because if you don't, you'll have bacteria build up in your kitchen, and the longer it sits, the worse it'll be. And really, it's just easier for you to clean as you go instead of having to save it all up till one time. If you're in a restaurant, you really don't want your morning staff to have to clean up after your evening staff, because they will not be happy. And if it's in your house, nobody wants to wake up and clean dishes before they eat breakfast. So stay on top of those things, and you'll have a great culinary life.